Alright, I'm back in part 2 of the Wow, Kanye West's Yeezus, and continuing on, I'm going to be finishing off part 1. Now, I'm going to be going into the events that occurred before the Yeezus album came out back in 2013, and I want to go back to Kanye West's first album back in 2004, The College Dropout. If anyone remembers the song Jesus Walks, and for anyone who's seen the video, it was very symbolic because in the video it showed a lot of eye-opening things, and I'm going to be breaking it down. And for some of you people, if you haven't seen the Jesus Walk video, one of Kanye West's singles that came out years and years ago, you can check it out on YouTube, and so you can see what I'm talking about. But in the Jesus Walk video with Kanye West, you can see in the video that he's in this hallway, and as he's rapping, basically, he's basically saying that we're at war with terrorism, racism, and he was saying that we're also at war with ourselves, basically. So that was a symbolic message right there, because we do fight not only against what's of the world, we fight against principalities as well, as it is stating in the Bible. And what Kanye West is basically saying is that when we're at war with ourselves, is that the industry was already trying to come after him, basically trying to get him to sell his soul and to follow what they wanted him to follow, and basically get him out of Christianity or whatever religion that he was previously in. So getting back to the video, in Jesus Walk, you can see Kanye West in the hallway, and as he's rapping, there's this blazing fire that symbolizes the devil that was coming towards him, and he was dressed all in white, and in the light that was on the ceiling above him, it was shining like a halo. It was like a ring, like a halo, and he was dressed all in white. So white basically symbolizes an angel, basically, in the halo and stuff. So as the fire was coming towards him, that was Satan trying to reach him then in the video. So that was Kanye West basically giving you guys, basically showing you guys that the industry and was trying to come for him then. So what happened was, as he was rapping, he looked back at the fire, but he looked forward as the fire was coming towards him. He didn't want to accept it then. He didn't want to accept Satan, and he didn't want to give his soul away. So the fire dissipated, and it went away. And the halo that was dimming above his head as the fire drew nearer to him, as the fire drew back and dissipated, that's when the halo returned, and basically he still had his soul. Now that was then. A few years later, I believe when his, I think it's his second album, his album 808, there's another video that he posted, that he had put out, called Coldest Winter. And for some of you people who may have seen the video a long time ago, who remember it, in Coldest Winter, Kanye West, is basically showing this girl running from these demons, basically these shadowy demons, and they were trying to get her soul. And in that video is very symbolic as well. You didn't see Kanye West playing as the girl, basically, because the song was actually about the girl, but the video is very symbolic, and you may not see Kanye West portraying as the demons are after him trying to get his soul, but you can see that they're after the girl. So it's basically just showing you, but in a different sense. So you don't really catch on to it right away, because it was just basically the starting point to where Kanye West actually sold his soul just about a year before this album came out. Kanye West's mother was blood sacrificed. She had some surgery done or something like that, and she was blood sacrificed. And what's so crazy about that is that Kanye West just basically gave his mom up for the fame and the fortune and stuff, because he let all that money and all that power got to his head. And it's very sad, you know, that a lot of these stars, that if you would notice that, how come a lot of these stars, some of the family members would just die for some reason without probable cause? It's always some accident, and it's always when they're alone or something like that, or some crap. And so when his mother was sacrificed, this is around the time the 808 album came out. And getting back into the Coldest Winter video, you can see that the girl's running, and then the girl falls. And in Kanye West's first album, Jesus Walks, he was saying that I pray that my feet don't fail me now, because they were already after him before then. But now in the video, the girl falls, and that's just showing basically that Kanye West is falling himself. And as the girl falls, the demons catch up to her, and they suck the soul out of her body. And after that, in the video, the demons are basically making her jump off a cliff. And as she jumps off the cliff, she jumps off, and then you can see this shadowy, like a pit, like she was jumping off. You know, like when people go to hell, something like that. That's basically what it looked like. But it was very winterish. There was no hellfire, no nothing. And you can see this shadow figure of, you know, Satan, you know, coming out with his hands in the shadow, and it grabs the girl, and it just basically takes any humanity from her, and because her soul's already taken, and the girl becomes demon possessed. And that just basically showed you guys what basically happened to Kanye West. Now, this is when the 808 album came out in this video, and this is around the same time that his mother was blood sacrificed. Now, people, you have to understand, a lot of these rappers and these singers, they have to do blood sacrifices, because when you're in such an industry, you have to get back to Lucifer. Now, for some people, what they do is that they appeal through material things, like you know, they get these stars to the horizons, and they put stuff in front of the face, like, you know, you can get to the $20 million, $50 million mark. But a lot of these stars don't understand is that Lucifer wants a blood sacrifice, and that's what they have to do. Now, they already know that they sold their soul. They already know that they're serving, you know, Lucifer and stuff. And if you would notice, a lot of these stars, they play their roles. You have Lady Gaga, who's the wickedest one. You have Jay-Z. You have Beyonce. You have all these stars. But as you would notice, is that they all serve a different type of purpose, because they all have something to offer and stuff. Now, with Kanye West, at the time, you know, as he was, you know, into the fame and stuff like that, he had already sold his soul when he came out back in 2004. That was just the beginning, and that's why he put that video out, you know, that Jesus Walks. So, like I said, Kanye West, he may have been a Christian before he released his first album, and he was, you know, into the word and stuff. But basically, in his 808 album and in the video Coldest Winter, it shows that, you know, how he basically just turned his soul over to Satan, and basically ever since then he was Lucifer's puppeteer. So that's basically what's happening in there. Now, getting back to the interview that he did in San Francisco, the interviewers were asking him about, you know, the Yeezus tour and stuff like that. They also asked him about, you know, was this Illuminati stunt? Illuminati stunt, I'm sorry. And Kanye West, you know, he did mention a little bit about it, but the way he did, what like a lot of stars do, they kind of play it off to make it seem like, you know, they're not really in it, and it's all basically a joke. But what Kanye West did, as he was, you know, he started to speak, and then he started to do a rap verse, and it was very, you know, off the top. And what he was doing is that he was talking, he was disclosing some information about the Illuminati and stuff. And what he was doing, he was freestyling basically. So as they asked him about the Illuminati, Kanye West mentioned the New World Order. He mentioned that the DEA teamed up with the CCA, that they are trying to lock niggas up. They're trying to make new slaves. some of the distractions are working. That's what he was saying. And why would he say some of the distractions are working? You want to it's kind of like you want to ask yourselves that. What are the distractions? What is he talking about? He's talking about people. He's talking about the Yeezus. He's talking about, Beyonce and Jay-Z, all the media, the social media, the music industry, is that they have these people under mind control because, he's basically telling you what's going on. They see the DEA is teamed up with the CCA, and the DEA is a drug enforcement and administration agency that basically they handle drug smuggling, and the CCA is Correction Corporation of America, and they own basically all the prisons and all the detentions. Well, I wouldn't say own, but they do own, and then they manage all the prisons and the detention centers. And he's saying that they teamed up, and they're locking niggas up, and they're making new slaves. That's what he was saying. So basically, people, as he was freestyling, he's basically giving subliminal messages about what's to come, because the new world order is, what's to come in the latter days, when the Antichrist appears and everyone is to either receive the mark of the beast or be killed. And as he was saying, the Corrections Corporations of America that manages the prisons and the detention centers, you got to put two and two together, people. Prisons and detention centers, that's what the new world order is going to be, when everyone's going to be on one accord, with the martial law and everything. So that's basically what's going on. He even joked about it, the Illuminati is such a sexy word, you can make a cologne out of it. So he knows what's going on, people. He knows what he's doing. He knows what's to come. A lot of these demonic stars, they're all in witchcraft. Kanye West is basically a sorcerer. If you look at him in his tour, the kind of outfits he wears with the mask and stuff, he's a sorceress. And he practiced sorcery. So that's basically what's going on. And he's using Jesus because he wants to be just like Yahushua. And that's basically a distraction, because a lot of people, even a lot of these so-called pagan Christians and Catholics, they go to his tours and all, and they buy his music and stuff, and they listen to him, and it's basically just keeping everyone under mind control, and that's what's going on. And even with his latest book, the Book of Jesus, it's just really sad. It's very demonic and stuff, and it's really crazy. And like I said, people, the Book of Jesus eliminates any mentionings of Yahweh, replaces Jesus as God, and it's just blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. And that's what Kanye West is doing. Now, it says here in Luke chapter 12, verses 10, what it mentions here, and this is a very true thing, people. Anyone who speaks a word against the Son of Man, it will be forgiven, but to him who blasphemes against the Holy Spirit, it will not be forgiven. I'll read it again. And anyone who speaks a word against the Son of Man, it will be forgiven, but to him who blasphemes against the Holy Spirit, it will not be forgiven. And that's in Luke chapter 12, verses 10. So people, it's time to wake up. Kanye West knows what he's doing. He's just playing his part as a puppeteer, as a sorcerer. This is a very sick man. He had his own mother blood sacrifice for fame and fortune and for the money and for the success. He's probably been fed so much BS to whereas Satan just rose him up to believe that he's going to be, a god in people's eyes, and he's just basically playing his part. But he has no idea is that when all this stuff comes to pass, and when it's time for Yahushua to return and everything starts to go down, all these demonic rappers and singers are all going to go to hell for blaspheming the Lord, because that's all they're doing, and they're all children of Satan. And for a lot of you people, it's time to wake up. It's time to get prayed up Stop listening to Kanye West and all these demonic musicians. It's time to wake up, people. And Yahweh Shai and Yahweh.